I think something that we may have not touched on that maybe we should is, not only do we mean when you like implementing tech into your business, doesn't mean creating something from scratch, whether it's web-based or a site or a mobile app, whatever. This could also mean utilizing other softwares that are available to you already.
Yeah, venture hustles, life is really what you make it. Building up your brand is whatever you create it. Really ain't no limit. You just gotta love it. Working day and night, it's all about the venture hustle. Hey, venture hustles. Time to take it to the next level. Let's go.
Welcome back to the Venture Hustles podcast. This is Saj, and
My name is Jack.
how are we doing?
Not bad. How you doing?
Good. Well, it's the Monday back right after our weekend, heading into
I think it's a 4th of July weekend.
4th of July weekend. It's it's been a pretty good start to the week.
I'd say so. Nice and productive. Although the weather today, is not ideal, but
No,
nice and
No.
gloomy over here in New York today.
the weather is not fun, man. It's super dark, super gloomy, super rainy. Is it gonna be like this all week?
I think from what I'm seeing, it should be done by like 6:00 today. Like the weather should be clearing up. I'm hoping that is the case.
Okay,
So
doesn't look like it, but
I'm trying to be optimistic here,
right.
Right. But today we're gonna be, talking about how to or why you would implement tech into your business.
Yeah, so I think that a lot of businesses, and this has been super prominent during COVID.
Well, I mean, and this is something that we literally deal with on a daily basis here at Finding the Free.
We do, we do. This is our bread and butter.
Some would say.
Yeah.
Some would say.
Yeah. The reason why I say this also is because like we've, Finding the Free has been around for a while, right?
Yeah.
It's been around for almost like 10 years, but as this has always been the thing that we did, but the most amount of transformations we've noticed has happened during the COVID phase, where a lot of companies went digital. A lot of businesses started offering, services using technology, and kind of like it's been fascinating to see, man. And I think that's where we're going.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. And you can even also make the point, and you'll probably hate me for this since I always somehow loop it back to this, but now we're seeing like a similar transition into Web3. How businesses are starting to implement Web3 like into what they offer, whether it's products, services, access.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah,
So-
I don't hate you for this. This
Well, I
is
know.
Web3 is where the future is, but
Yeah.
I guess kind of like going into this, basically, if you're listening to us for the first time, let's address, we're Saj and Jack, we're the co-hosts of the show, and we talk about startups, technology, Web3, entrepreneurship, businesses. We have some cool and interesting guests come in from time to time. We're actually going to start bringing out some more guests, and we filmed 2 guest episodes, which will release soon, or
pretty excited about
probably
those,
released by
honestly.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to try to bring in people from different industries, provide different insight. We had Alora, who's from the music industry, come in.
Yep.
And we had a Dr. Lynn Yaffe, who came in, and he was from the medical industry, so healthcare.
Yep. And if this is, let's say, your first time listening, we also have Mr. Afke, Alon Afke. He's doing a lot of cool things, a lot of big things here in Long Island, along with he's doing some work in Houston and pretty much all across the United States. So if you're a real estate guy, definitely check out that episode.
Yeah, Alon was cool too. Alon was the first guest.
He was. He started us off just right. He's a cool guy.
We never forget the first guest.
Ever.
Yeah.
But with that being said, if this is your first time, we appreciate you. And just to kind of piggyback of what Saj had mentioned, overall arching principle would be if you're looking to start a business, or this is, let's say, your first venture, or you're looking to start a business, Saj and I created this channel to help you, whether it's giving you tips, actual steps and how-tos, or maybe just some insight as to, some things that we've learned in our experiences, and, ideally, hopefully you learn a couple of things and makes your journey just a little bit easier. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think if you like what we post, or if you have any questions for the team,
let us know.
Let us know. Drop a comment, and
Our DMs are always open.
yeah, we post episodes every Wednesday without
Yes.
fail, or at least that's our goal. Unless we
No,
run into some
we're
technical.
pretty good, honestly. I don't think we've missed one.
No, we have
Maybe our
not.
first week or second week.
No, we've never missed one.
Yeah, we're
So-
pretty locked down.
Yeah, and that's pretty much, it's been pretty good. So I think today we're going to talk about implementing tech into your business,
Yeah.
and what first of all, like, what does it mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to kick us off here?
Yeah. So what does it mean to implement tech into your business? I mean, for me, like ideally, it's more about helping your people, your team, and then also starting to kind of automate a lot of the manual or redundant tasks that kind of go on in your day-to-day for the business, and utilizing tech. One of the best things about it is that it's scalable, it's duplicatable, and you don't have to remind someone to do it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I agree. I also think it depends on like what industry and like what the nature of your business is.
Yes.
I think it's always very confusing to me when I look at, let's say I'm looking for some work done for my house or something, some service I'm looking for.
Okay.
And I go to this website that looks like it was made in the 90s.
Like 2001?
Like 2001.
Yeah.
And I have no idea why they never updated it. Their links don't work. And it's just there for show. You can book or schedule a meeting. You can look at their it's so choppy.
Prehistoric.
Yeah, prehistoric.
Is really the word.
Yeah. And for me, it doesn't make sense why people don't transition over. The amount of money and opportunities they're losing is ridiculous to me. So that's kind of why. That's the biggest thing that stands out to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that might be because, let's say, they're doing good enough with what they have. Don't want to spend the extra X amount of dollars, right? Because they're doing good enough, and I would say probably more times than not, it's probably an older, gentleman or lady that's running the site, and it's like, as long as I have something there, it's all that really matters.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I think if you're happy, you're happy, right?
Yeah, but I mean, if the numbers are bigger, that also makes you very happy, I would imagine. So,
True.
There's that.
So, I mean, I guess, why would you implement tech in your business, right? And I guess, I don't know if we're being super vague by saying tech.
Okay, that's a good point. Maybe we should dive into a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, tech means whether it's something as simple as just a website, so I guess let's break it down, right? For me, it's what your customers are experiencing, but then also what your team is experiencing, right? So let's say on the customer side, whether it's a website or some sort of, robust web-based platform where customers can go in or, make an order, make a custom order, then they send it to you. Or maybe it's a mobile app, which could maybe accomplish some of the same things.
Yeah, even from the customer side, it's it kind of goes both hand to hand with customers and with your team. It's let's say if you're a professional services company and you want a booking appointment system and you don't have that online, there's so many tools that let you implement a free version where people can book the first 100 appointments for free using the platform. You don't have to pay for a membership. It's just correct, and it's just you got to plug it into your site. And on the back end, your team would basically need to look at all the bookings that are coming in and being able to field and service those. Right. So there's two sides to this.
Yes.
So I think, I guess, we addressed why, right? Why would you?
Well, I think also, for me, with any company or business, especially being, let's say in an owner standpoint or a high level executive, you want your team to be efficient. You want them to be efficient or as efficient as possible. So if implementing some sort of technology, whether it's a site, whether it's some sort of software to take care of that and help them do their daily tasks, I mean, that's kind of where you want to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think this is kind of on topic, and I don't want to derail, but do you remember the WeWork episode when we talked about Adam Newman?
Yeah.
And the WeWork episode was basically one thing that... 5 maybe?
I was going to say 4 or 5.
4 or 5,
go ahead.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's from the OG days. It was like month 1. That's when we did that.
Oh yeah.
But during my research, what I found out was WeWork, even though they were like a real estate kind of business, investors came in and they said, you're not really a tech company. You have no methodologies of tech implemented in your business.
Okay.
So like, why are you positioning yourself as that when you're raising money? It doesn't make any sense. And then, like, you know what I'm saying? So like Adam Newman, who was the CEO of WeWork, then said, no, we are a tech company. This is why. And then behind the scenes, what he was doing is he was instructing his team to basically create this facade of like what made them a tech company. And
that sounds like a joy for those team members.
Yeah, and it was just like so crazy. They started implementing things where there would be like an internal monitoring and a booking system through their own POS system. And then they were preparing to demo that to when the investor would come in and check out the premises. They're like, this is why we're a tech company.
Just from one POS scheduling.
That's the guy he was. He is.
That's
rather. True. But it was kind of like crazy because implementing tech in your business goes hand in hand with your daily processes, Yeah. It's like, how do you run your business? A lot of people, let's say it's a mom and pop shop or like a construction company, or they do have like a little store that they sell something out of, right? Equipment, supplies. They don't really need online services. They don't really, technically, they don't. That's how it always was, always has been. They get their bills paid. They get their rent paid. They're coming out green at the end of the day and they're okay. Yeah. Or maybe they don't come out green. But the reality is people are just complacent and they're okay. But, we're in 2022, man. Yeah,
I think that, like, with tech, implementing tech into the business, like, two things. Efficiency, I'm going to keep repeating it. Efficiency, and then just having it be automated. Like, even if, based on your example, if you're selling things, like, how are you keeping track of inventory? Yeah. Are you writing it down on, like, some chart? Even if you have an Excel spreadsheet, which you would be surprised about how many companies legitimately run off of the whole Google suite. But why not have an inventory system, right, where you can scan it and then the computer automatically uploads it when you sell an item? The computer or the system would automatically send that back to the inventory. You know what I mean? Just things like that, where from someone that is kind of seeing the vision of the company, these things, although you may not think of it, like for me, these things matter because it's not taking up, energy or brain space where now you can focus on some of the more important things on how you can kind of move the company forward,
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think everything is efficiency. Also, like, it depends on like how dedicated or how passionate or hungry these people are in each of these avenues, right? It just it's not the same for everybody. And
this is true.
Also, like, I've always been a strong believer of like, if you're at a very low level job, or you're working at Dunkin' Donuts or McDonald's, or just kind of doing, even if you're doing like janitorial work somewhere at a school or whatever, and at the end of the day you're coming home and you're okay with the numbers, you're happy, you
feel good,
you can lay your feet up and you can kind of kick it back and be like, okay, you know what, man, I don't care, I've had a good day, I'm happy with where I'm at in life, who cares about anything else?
Good for you. I have I'm happy for you, honestly. You know what I mean? 100%. There's a lot of people that are on the other side of the spectrum but still unhappy. So that's you. Good for you.
But congrats. if you're running a shop and you're running a business and you want to be efficient and grow and scale it, then you absolutely need to be thinking about implementing tech in your business. And why don't we talk about some ways and some tips and methods of, I guess, like what people can do if they have a new business they started up, or their startup, to implement their workflow. Improve their workflow day to day.
So, I think something that we may have not touched on that maybe we should is, not only do we mean when you like implementing tech into your business, doesn't mean creating something from scratch, whether it's web-based or a site or a mobile app, whatever. This could also mean utilizing other softwares that are available to you already, right? So let's say a CRM system, right, where you can manage your clients and their information and your tasks. Yep. Calendar system, Google Calendar, Calendly. That word is such like a
Calendly.
Tongue twister. Calendly. Or maybe something as simple as Concord Now or DocuSign, where you can sign agreements electronically, invoicing system.
Yeah. Also,
You know
just
what I
to
mean?
kind of, I mean, we can touch base on these things really quick, right? What you're talking about, everything is mostly either servicing clients that you already have or existing workflow and systems within your team, right?
Yes.
So while we're talking about this, like even if, for example, Concord Now or DocuSign or HelloSign, Hello Panda, whatever they got.
There's a gazillion.
There's a gazillion. But you can even like sign, like people that still do physical documents, I don't understand why.
Some people do like the physical touch, but I mean, for us, we always have a digital copy.
We always have a digital copy, but it feels so ancient when, I mean, for us,
Pen to paper,
98% of our contracts are digitally signed.
Maybe 99.5 you have
Yeah.
those people like, I want a paper. It's like, we're going to sign the digital one first, and I can print
I
you
think
a
we
copy.
get maybe one a year if we do. We get
I
maybe
mean,
one if we do.
We signed the digital. It's like, all right, I'll print you a copy after we're done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
But the what I was gonna say is these softwares like Concord and
Mm-hmm.
DocuSign, like they also have like a feature called in-person signing, you know, where you can set it up so that it's built for you to be, because the way these digital signing platforms work and the reason why they're legal, and they can facilitate the job, and also they'll stand in court, because when you're signing with your IP address,
Yeah.
and it gets stamped in the document. So it's like
Yeah.
there's no like, oh, somebody fake signed this. That's the process.
yeah.
And it's universally accepted amongst, you know, pretty much all facets of
lot,
different industries. But they also have like a feature where it's called in-person signing, where obviously if you're signing in person with the guy, it's a different method because the IP address would be the same. You're in person. So just something to think about. And then we should talk about the CRMs, man. The CRMs are kind of crazy, right? Like all the different CRM platforms.
Yeah, we can get pretty carried away with those pretty quickly.
I think, you know, if for sales teams, for teams that have, even if it's like a couple salespeople, or if a bigger team, you want to use something like Salesforce or HubSpot.
Yeah.
I think for, you know, what they basically do is basically let you log in all of your customer information and keep track of all the different customers that you're talking to and following your leads.
Yeah, the sales cycle.
The sales cycle,
tests,
messaging. Yep.
All those things, yeah.
Yeah.
Then we have, you know, like project management tools. Again, depending on what kind of industry you're in, you know, things like Trello or Monday.com, where, okay, you've moved past HubSpot, let's say, in a way where the deal is, or the client is now onboarded. Now it's like, okay, now we got to get the job done and facilitate the project, make sure our T's are crossed, I's are dotted. You know, and I'm glad we spoke about this, because it doesn't, just because you're a company that doesn't have tech doesn't mean to create something brand new and reinvent the wheel. There's plenty of things out there that you can use.
We've talked about different things in the past couple episodes. This is actually good because we've never really broken down every like different softwares and things that we use and that are good, right? Also Asana's pretty industry standard, and Asana is basically like the premium version of Trello, and Monday Asana I would say are the same.
Okay.
At the same level.
Yeah.
But also I think if you have a website that is reliant on customers calling you or looking for FAQs or answers, I think you should implement like a chatbot if you haven't already, or like a chatting system, where, you know, your team would get an alert every time someone's on the site and requested to chat with somebody, and you'd be surprised how useful those are.
You're surprised how much that matters. You know, where you got someone that's on your site at 7 p.m. at night, and if you have someone assigned to that, it's a new client that you might not have otherwise had.
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
I think it's pretty fascinating that how far we've come. You know what's crazy? We use HubSpot at our company. Like we, you know, me and Jack, we, you know, with everybody on our team, we use this pretty frequently every single day for all of our clients. You know, when we implemented the chat system on our site years ago, they didn't have this feature, but right now HubSpot has an integration where you can implement HubSpot's own chat system to the site, and it shows up on the HubSpot dashboard.
And then it integrates into with the lead. Oh, that's awesome. That's
so that's pretty like crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, God,
I was going to say most of these platforms, it sounds like it's a little intimidating and people would be like, oh man, I don't have money to spend. We started off free with most of these platforms.
That's exactly what I was just going to say, is that, even like, let's just say you used, Monday project management tool, HubSpot, Calendly or Google Calendar, DocuSign or Concord Now. I mean, talking about monthly expense of what? I'd say below.
Well, Monday we spend thousands a year. Monday we
Well, there's a free version though, isn't there? Or a very low paid model one.
Low paid model with very like high limitations. But I mean, yeah, it comes out to it's a couple $1,000 for the whole year's membership. So I'm assuming it's like roughly about maybe $400 a month.
Okay.
So Monday's pretty premium and expensive. That's pretty expensive
let's take Monday out.
But use Trello. It's a good alternative and it's free.
Okay,
We started off with Trello. When the company was conceived in 2014, we did everything for free when we started out. We started off with Trello.
Okay.
Then we started off with HubSpot, which was also free back then. Go ahead.
What I was gonna say is let's give someone like an actual blueprint, right? So let's say going back to like when you were conceived, when FFP was conceived, or you got someone out there that is balling on a budget, trying to get their shop up and running. I guess maybe do like one of each, where if you had all of these things, you'd be in a really good place. Let's say you got $150, $200 a month to spend on these softwares. What would you say? Go.
So the biggest tip is, and again, I don't know how many people know how to do this, but I would be shocked if they don't. But if you don't, if you have $150 to $200, I would only spend those dollars on services that I absolutely can't find any alternatives for. So one thing that I always did was I would search the service. Let's say I'm looking for a document signing platform. I would do DocuSign and go on Google and type in DocuSign alternatives. Or you can say DocuSign free alternatives. And literally there are platforms that review other softwares that they do like a pros and cons in comparison with DocuSign, and they'll say this is free. You don't have to put a credit card down, nothing. You click on the top one that's highly rated, and then you test out their platform. So if you have like $200 or $150, that's still a lot in my opinion. If you're just starting out,
yeah.
HubSpot is free, so you can use HubSpot for all of your sales.
Got it.
You can load up to 5,000-10,000 contacts and you still be fine. Slack for team communication, completely free. We don't pay anything for Slack.
Essential. It's a great tool.
Trello is probably the best free task and project management software that you would have, that you don't need to pay $1 for.
Okay.
That you can kind of get your entire team onboarded to.
Okay.
Google Drive.
We love our Google Drive.
You don't need to download Microsoft Word or Excel. You've got Sheets and Excel sheets on Google Sheets on Google Drive. We've been using Google Drive for years and years and years. Just these 4 or 5 things are going to get you up and running, right?
Yeah.
Then for signing documents, this is sad to say because Concord was free all of these years and we used it
so many years
with no issues at all until they just recently added a paywall. So what I would recommend doing is using EverSign. Why do you laugh?
Because that's what so again, like what we say, like we are actually doing.
Yeah.
Like me and Saj and I just had a conversation probably 3 hours ago from us recording right now. What did he do? Concord Now, free alternatives. What popped up? EverSign. What are we using? EverSign.
So I think we were talking about Concord and we were talking about
Let's not
EverSign.
spend too much time on this, but go ahead.
So the reason why I say this is I think it's important to note, like you talked about, it's like how much money can you save, and like, okay, what if you had like $150, $200?
Yeah.
And it's important to know, like for us, it's every single software we use, it's per user, right? We have a bigger team.
Yes.
And so it's like charges a couple $100 per month and it adds up to a couple $1,000s per year. So we have to look at a cost alternative. We were thinking about switching out of Concord, which is a document signing platform, to EverSign or something else, right? EverSign is significantly cheaper. Like I would say 1/4 or 1/5 of what Concord's pricing was.
Yeah.
But we actually might stick with it because there are limitations to the software. Concord lets you edit the documents directly on the platform, lets you share it with multiple people. There's a lot of advantages that you have. EverSign, you have to edit the document on, let's say, Google Drive and make sure that's the final version. Then you upload it, and then you can have it signed. It's like an additional step.
Yeah.
It comes down to how many documents are you signing. If you're signing hundreds of documents like per month or like per year, then it's probably not worth you doing that. You want everything in one hub.
Yeah. I mean,
But
go ahead.
But if you're trying to save that money, and that extra work is okay starting off, I would 100% recommend doing the free, cheaper alternative because it helps you big time long term.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. I agree. You gotta pinch pennies where you can, and then don't pinch them where you can't. So.
Listen, man. All I gotta say is, the rich don't stay rich by spending all their money.
Okay.
This applies to every single thing.
Mm-hmm.
You also don't get rich by spending more money. You got to spend money where it's applicable. You got to be calculative with what you're spending your money on. You also can't be penny pinching on things that you absolutely need.
Correct. I was going to mention where sometimes you need to know where it's like, okay, I need this, or my team needs this, whatever it is. Like, okay, this is a good investment,
Well, the thing is, the reason why I say this is people don't know any better. Like, I think people don't know how to do research, or the fact that there's millions of companies, thousands of companies that are competing with these other big mega companies just to get these clients in their businesses.
Yeah.
Concord was free all of these years. Why? They were competing with DocuSign. But guess what? Their user base is so massive now, they have the full power and control to charge and bill whatever they want. Yeah. And now they're going to be in the green. And the reality is we're probably staying with Concord because we're so comfortable over these years. So it's an investment they made on us, and it's...
Now we're going to make it back, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, now they're going to make it back.
Yeah. So I guess in wrapping up, right, we've spoken about, some softwares that, you might want to consider using, why you might want to consider using them, how. Now maybe we can discuss some steps as to, okay, how do I actually go about implementing, whether it's something brand new or something that's existing, and kind of get the team rolling.
So what do you mean by how?
Well, steps more so.
Steps of doing it, again, I think it comes down to your needs, right? I think what are you looking for? I also think one thing before we get into this, I don't think we covered like the customer side, right? Let's say we talked about mostly like team processes and internal stuff and workflow, but more of like, let's say, how can you implement tech to get or cater to your customers and consumers. We talked about like chatbots and like chat widgets on your site, but what else can people do before we go into the steps?
Okay, so what's the question?
How can you implement more tech to cater to your customers or get more customers?
So aside from, let's say, marketing, right, in ads, and we do have an episode regarding marketing, so or how to utilize ads and things like that. But outside of that, even just some things you can do on your site, chatbot. I'm sure a lot of us are all familiar with when you go on a site, you have pop-up, plug in your email for a newsletter. Right? That's another software we didn't even mention, from a newsletter standpoint, or whether it's a weekly or a daily email that your company can send out, to your people or to your customers, let's say. But I think other than that, those are, I think, two very easy things that one could do to help, retain some customers, or more so help get customers, because you always have people that go on the site, take a look, they're out. Or you have people that come on, plug in their email, it's like, something came up, they're off the site. That's how you can leverage, a platform like MailChimp, where you're sending out emails on a daily basis and then, over time.
Just to address, MailChimp is basically like an email newsletter campaign platform for people that don't know what that is. Again, MailChimp is free. It starts off as free until, I think, for like 10,000 contacts.
That's a lot of contacts.
Well, yeah. But depends on your lead outlets and how much you're bringing in. You're gonna.
I guess this is true.
Yeah, but good point. That's a good tip. I think we totally forgot about that. These are just some baseline tips. Honestly, a lot of this is like foundation things that if you're not aware of, you should be doing to kind of get your business up and running. Yeah. And implementing tech within your regular work processes.
Yeah.
I guess, steps to implement tech in your business?
I think for me, like one of the biggest things is just understanding the workflow of whether it's you or your team, and then finding a platform or platforms that will help you make that workflow more systematic and efficient. Because HubSpot, let's say, works for us. Monday.com works for us. It might not work for the guy down the block. His systems or his business model might be different.
Yeah, there are so many different ways when it comes to project management. There's like I forget what is it, like Kanban or like Gantt charts. There are different types of project management, different types of task management that different people like better. Not like your regular, what we do is pretty regular and standard, but a lot of different teams, like if you're a design-based company that, let's say does print media or print design or just like t-shirt design, merchandise design, things like that, they might have different work processes. So that's a really good point that you made, 100%.
Thanks, friend.
But I think I agree with you. I think identify all of the different things that you do as a day-to-day, and then think about what can you do to implement tech to streamline and improve every facet of, what you're doing.
Yeah. And this is something that, Saj and I talk about, a lot, because we're always trying to, make sure the team can be as efficient as possible and it's easy, And at the end of the day, a lot of these softwares will help build out your systems, and the system should back and help the person. The person shouldn't be helping the system. There's a lot of times where that is the case, and it shouldn't be.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, if it's the other way around, if the person's helping the system, then it shouldn't be part of the system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I guess in closing here, for those watching on YouTube, what do you guys think about the new angle? We got a new new producer. We got some new angles here. Upgraded equipment. Let us know what you think. I'm interested.
Upgraded the camera angles. I think we're only going to keep getting better, right?
Yes.
That's the goal. We did this with the new guest shoots because we wanted multiple camera angles.
We did.
And it was going to be too crowded with the setup. Plus, we're testing some stuff out, with the logo, and I want that seat so bad, and Jack won't let that go. So,
I'm down to have a vote, like if we can get one going.
No. I think we need another rock paper scissors.
Should we do a live on cam?
No.
Yeah,
I can't have it.
Yes, why did you do a live
have
on
that.
cam?
No, I can't have that. But yeah, man, I think this is good.
Yeah.
Let us know if you want us to drop. Every time we post these episodes, a lot of the people that I know, like that watched Venture Hustles, they always appreciate it. But kind of like the people that are watching us on YouTube or listening to us on Spotify and Apple, let us know if you'd want us to do more how-to videos or episodes that could be more helpful.
Yeah, and I was also thinking while we were doing this episode that maybe we should do one on like systems of workflow, like how to build out a workflow for your team. I think that's like honestly vital to an operation of a company.
It's gonna be very tricky to do in podcast format without doing like a screen share or like doing a demo. My god,
that'd
be
kind of elite.
It could be, but again, the audio version, I don't know how that translate.
Fair, something to think about.
Yeah,
but I guess any closing remarks here as we kind of start to close up shop. No? Okay. Well, I think some closing remarks for me would be always do what's best for you. Obviously always understand what you have available and understand how it could best fit your needs. And there always is a way to get what you need for free. Most times. You just got to do enough digging, right?
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Just there's nothing wrong with that. And who cares what people say? People that don't know how to...
Half the time they won't even know.
Half the time they won't even know. And also people that say, this is how I started off, man. I mean, the first couple things, when you don't have money and everything's tight, when you start your first business, you find the cheapest, most affordable solution.
Yeah.
Just so you can get the foundation right. You know, once you get everything right, you're gonna get to a point where like, man, this cheap alternative isn't not working. We need these features.
That's a good thing.
You know, almost every service that we use right now, we pay for,
Yeah.
pay premium for, and it costs us thousands, tens of thousands of dollars per year. But you know what? Without that, we wouldn't be able to run an efficient team full of, you know, multiple developers, designers, you know, salespeople. It's just not possible. So,
Yeah.
I just piggybacked off your closing statement, but you want to sign us off?
Yeah. So as always, we appreciate all those watching. We hope that you learn a couple of things while listening or watching. And as always, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, and really anywhere else that you think you would find it. We are. And
TikTok,
Instagram.
And dude, our watch strap smashed today.
I see, like, you've been kind of eyeing it throughout the episode.
Yeah, I just noticed.
Yeah, I like this watch. You know, shout out Fossil. It's a nice little.
Fossil's
watch.
a good brand. Yeah,
It's nice. You know, I mean, keep it nice and it looks nice.
You put that in your box.
Yeah,
You got to.
I put all my watches in the box.
Well,
but as always, we hope you are enjoying the day and night, depending on where you are. And until next time.
thank you.
Venture hustles, this is venture hustles. Turn nothing to something, start a business, get it jumping. Ay, told myself that I would make it and I'm never quitting. Staying motivated and I started with a vision. Yeah, venture hustles, life is really what you make it. Building up your brand is whatever you create it. Really ain't no limit, you just gotta love it. Working day and night, it's all about the venture hustle. Ay, venture hustles, time to take it to the next level. Let's go.